As I look around the world, the larger section or sector of many countries' population is young, and this is very troubling because we have been unable to prevent the enemy from sort of segregating the young and the old. In some other societies, the old are revered and the young people seek advice and guidance and so on. In the Caribbean, children marry at 12 and 11, and sometimes in North America and in Europe it might sound, oh, but these young people have extraordinary experiences. From young, they felt as though they wanted to do this, and so they took the time out and they learned a lot of things. Of course, they're still young, and what happens, as I've seen, in first child, they get a lot of help, and then after that, they're independent. By 16, they're doing the thing, and real early they have their own house and a car and have assets, and move on, because the time that the other young people spend in wasting time and sowing white oats, they're staying home and taking care of the business. But recently, I heard a young boy was talking. He said he grew up with Sky-Fi, and he is able to use Sky-Fi as a basis to come up with new ideas. And Sky-Fi is what? Science fiction. So he has a foundation of fictions, and therefore he's going to build on fictions. It's as building a house on some sinking sand, or some unadvisable place, or probably building a house with sea sand. But then that's not the only thing that many young people have grown up with. They've grown up with Sesame Street, they grow up with Scooby Doo, they grow up with Star Trek, a whole bunch of fiction. And I find that many people call themselves authors, and they're author of fiction. So you get hit across your head, you fall along, and you come up with some kind of stuff, and you put it together with some good grammar and composition and put it over, and it sounds so believable, but it's fiction, man. And anytime you get so entrenched that your whole experience is just fictitious, guess what? You're out for trouble. Now, in my case, I never liked fiction. I always would, when I was a child, I borrow a book on space travel, or something that is kind of concrete and practical and real. No fiction. And then religion taught me later on that fictitious stuff does unbalance the mind. People read a lot of romance, but it doesn't mean that they will have a great romance or a great romantic life when they grow up. So with these self-driven cars, it's these same young people who have all this kind of walking around with a phone, and they're walking into posts and driving off the road, having accidents with people. These are the people who are coming up with these kind of jokey stuff, to have cars that can be driving themselves, and trucks, and you have cars that are going to fly. Some stupid stuff, man. And I don't know why people don't tell these young people, look, man, you're just coming with some stupid stuff. You see, in our cultures overseas, teachers just tell you straight up. I recall when Miriam Makeba came through the Caribbean, and this young girl, she was singing, and her mom was setting up concerts for her and so on. And teacher tell her, look, your child has no talent. She's singing Makeba songs, and soon as Makeba songs become not popular again, she's gone. She doesn't have talent for that. And they tell you straight up. So in other societies, they're going to give them lessons and fool them that, oh, you do so good. And they might end up having a career in it, but it's just crap they can come with. So this self-driven car here with sensors and going to the satellite and coming back and making decisions split second or whatever. They want faster computers that could do it faster and so forth. But there are some things that really and truly, sensors and all that stuff can't replace the human, right? Now, I mean, can you imagine this truck with tons of stuff, big steel and big concrete, and even maybe the Pentagon missiles taken across the country, and somebody hack into the satellite? The enemy, the enemy. There's so many enemies. The next war is going to be about technology and hacking into the satellites and whatever. Suppose they hack into the satellites, and this big truck with all these bombs is going on the road, and the sensor didn't say to stop, and you run straight to some place, or the bus, or something. Man, this thing is so dumb, it's not funny. And they have Uber and Lyft and all these stuff. These young people are coming with some fictitious stuff that only disrupting the economy, and can create problems. Because can you imagine you going on the road and some of these self-driven trucks running and kill you and your family and kill a whole bunch of people? I mean, they'll pay you some money, but a lot of times money don't really be able to compensate for the type of loss you sustain. Um, I'd prefer to have good health than to get a big payday, because you know what will happen as soon as you're sick, they want you to die so they could run off with your money, all this kind of games. So I think somebody needs to tell these young people to stop, and they need to start listening to old folks, because I'll tell you what, not on this scientific and technology thing that they're going off on this deep end stuff, they're trying to have intelligence, computer intelligence, artificial intelligence, and all this stuff. As one guy said, the human brain start making certain decisions. You know how much power it would take to really duplicate that? All these checks and all this thing. I mean, they run fast, but a human being is always, the better deal, man. I know that running things, 24/7, a computer will do it good because it does the same thing all the time. A human gonna try to, shirk here and fall asleep there and this kind of stuff. But on another level, today you have so many people not employed. You could spend $1 trillion and say you're building a housing complex, and you're spending $1 trillion to build several blocks of buildings. Guess what? You could just have maybe 100 people working, and crane and backhoe and all this kind of stuff, and the job can be done. It's going to be done good. Maybe not, maybe as good as humans, or a little better. But you know what? That $1 trillion, if we hadn't all this technology, could have employed at least probably 2,000 people, 3,000. And so they said in the past, when they were, probably analyzing it, well, yeah, we'd be replacing people, but we'd be able to give them social benefits. Now they're coming back and tell people, you're so lazy, you're on welfare. But where are the jobs? You could build in Puerto Rico. There was one company I see that does the road in San Juan, and perhaps with the whole island, this one company could do all the jobs. And they just have maybe about 10 guys, backhoes, and this roller, and this and that, or whatever. Just imagine long ago, you digging trenches. You got people there with forks and shovel and back and wheelbarrows and so forth. It was a lot of hard work, but hey, this person went home sweating, worked hard, felt good, and felt, the whole psychological and sociological aspects of working. So as we go along, these so-called smart youths that we have, that grow up in all this fiction stuff, they can come up with, oh, Hilton spend billions of dollars in hotels, but you know what? I'm going to get me a little app, $50 app, and I'm going to get people to rent from citizens. They have spare rooms, and they're going out for vacation in the summer. And these people invested all this money in the place. And so many hotels with front desk and so forth. One little app will replace all that real fast. Not to mention, the others that take over the taxi business, and so on. So all these young people doing is stacking up the world to collapse. Because when they stack up everything on this technology and all that, and for a couple of days or maybe for a week we have satellite problems or communication problems or radiation from the atmosphere that will interfere with communication and so on, we can be in some chaos. So I hope that somebody is listening and will tell these young people to just go away. We had enough of this fiction stuff. We could see where it's leading. It's going nowhere. A couple of them will become billionaires, and then they have no education but this great idea to do this app. And if you listen to the opinion, just dumb stuff, right? So I don't trust these self-driven vehicles. I'm not going to buy none. And if I know, they probably should have special highways for them so that you'll know to avoid it. Because, anytime anything go wrong, the tires blow out or whatever, they're going to run you over straight up. It depends on the power it has and the amount of weight. You could squash a whole line of traffic. So tell the young people to stop, okay?